Today I'm going to be taking apart my L96. I have already taken out the items that I had to replace, which is my cylinder, has a small crack right here, and my hop-up unit. The arm broke. I could have easily just replaced the arm, but I decided to go ahead and replace the hop-up altogether because this is just the stock hop. I replaced that with a brass hop-up, so it's a little bit more sturdy, and it also has pins to hold the barrel straight right out of the hop-up, so that give me more accuracy. So the two main points of contact for the L96 are these two screws right here. The good thing about these screws is you can't lose them. So I think I already have them loose. Just gonna finish unscrewing this one. And you can see, just like that, the L96 comes apart fairly easily. Although with this cylinder that I purchased, it is a little bit bigger, and I had to actually unscrew the barrel from the upper to make it fit, and do a small modification to the inner part of the barrel, or the mag well here, to make it all fit. It says that the cylinder is compatible with L96s, but I'm sure that's the more higher end L96. This is a Shadow Ops, so it's not the most expensive one out there, and I can't seem to find the right Allen key, so I'm just going to use my scissors to get this screw set back a bit so I could finish unscrewing here, and that worked just fine. And now I'll be able to unscrew the barrel. Just like that. It's pretty simple and easy to do. There's a lot of threads on here. So that is step number one, just like that. And as you can see, this cylinder, I didn't grease it up or anything yet. It is stainless steel, and it's pretty sturdy, although it does add quite a bit of weight to the L96. But first off, I'm just going to sit this to the side here and work on the hop-up unit. So to get that, the actual whole barrel out and the hop-up, you have to do this, undo this screw right here. So I'm just going to take my screwdriver, go like so, remove this mag release, and I'll go into more details on how to modify the mag well to get the cylinder to fit proper. The next step for the stock hop-up unit would be to unscrew this like hexagon type of nut that would be on the end here, which is the same as this piece here. You would unscrew that, pull it all the way off through the length of the barrel, and then your barrel would come out. Don't try to yank on it, or you're going to mess up the hop-up bucking, and yeah, you'll have to go and buy a new bucking. So that would be the step after that, and then you'll be able to pull out your barrel. For the sake of argument here, I'm just going to show you how to actually put the new hop-up together. So they have 3 set screws right here. this one, make sure you don't do them like all the way, undo them all the way, because they're really small and they can be really hard to find if they fall out on the carpet or whatever. So you would simply go like that, loosen them up, and actually undo this screw. This is going to be the same pressure system that's being used on the old Hopup unit. I just used it for this new one. That's basically just your pressure on the actual bucking. Let me grab a Allen key here to do that. So you only want to kind of unloosen this a little bit, and then you'll be able to slide it off just like that. Oh, a little bit more. Same goes with the stock Hopup. You don't have to take this Allen key out all the way. Just doesn't want to come out, I guess. I guess you do have to take it off all the way. Oh, it's because I have these set screws. I didn't want to pass by them. So I'll just turn it to the side a bit and it'll slide off like that. And then this little nub here, if you can get your finger behind it, slides off like so. Comes off like that. And then you would be able to actually, I'm going to undo these a little bit more because I have a feeling that it's going to scratch the bucking. So at that point you'll be able to actually have a nub in here that I don't want to lose. Pull that out. And now, because I didn't use much grease or anything putting this in, it's probably going to be a problem. I'm actually debating if I should actually take this out all the way. Yeah, I can see it bending in there. So that's how you take out your bucking, or sorry, your barrel from the Hopup. And if you just put a little pressure like that, you can see the rubber start to come out. It's probably better that I am taking this all apart to grease it up and clean the barrel properly anyways. You'll notice that I am still using the stock barrel. And yeah, it's actually a G&G green here. Although it did rip on me, but I was having some good results just with the shots that I was taking, the way that it is. So I think I'm going to just roll with it for now until I get a new bucking and get a better seal in there. I haven't had a chance to chrono yet, so I'll keep you posted on what my FPS is anyways. So yeah, that's how you disassemble your new Hopup, just like that. So it's not too difficult. Now to actually get it back together, I have to find my silicone spray wherever I sat it. Where is it? There we go. So to make things easier on yourself, a lot of people say don't use silicone spray. I do. It just makes getting a bucking on a lot easier. Slide this on here. Make sure that it's in place. Like that. And then just, that's all you really need. You don't need a lot. So as I mentioned, this is a G&G green, which is not really for this sniper rifle, but I'm going to be using it anyway. Once that kind of gets in there, I'm actually going to spray a little bit of silicone spray inside here just to make things move a little easier. And then we should not have a problem getting it to slide in. So now that we got the Hopup rubber in place, I can go ahead and put my nub in there. Make sure it's laying down in the center. Now there are different types of nubs that would fit exactly in the right spot. Some that you don't even need a nub, but I'm going to go ahead and use the rubber nub that came with the G&G green. It's a little bit too small, but if you get it right in the right spot, you should be fine. And then give it another little look, see how the pressure is, and it looks pretty even, so I'm happy with that. Go ahead and put on the little bracket brace, whatever you want to call it. Oh, I put it on the wrong way. And put this Allen key back on, or this Allen screw, I should say. And then this is where probably the best time to set your hop would be. Once you start using it and learning where or how much hop that you like would come in handy. You can basically put it on all the way and then just back it off a little bit. Just gonna actually back it off a little bit more. It doesn't have to be super tight, so don't tighten it all the way. And that looks pretty good. You could still tighten up the hop when it's inside of the barrel. Just setting this initially just makes things a little bit easier. It is made to move around and kind of wiggle around a little bit. So at this point, just going to tighten these set screws again. Tighten them down. Tighten it down. Just going to slide this on with the thinner side facing towards the Hopup, and then push it into place like so, and that's basically it. You replaced your Hopup onto your barrel. And now to put this back, got to do some lining up of these spacers here. Mine are actually out of place, and it's a little bit difficult sometimes to get them to fall back into place. So we're almost done with the barrel. Just have to put this back on. That screw wants to go in there. There we go. Tighten that down. Get that nice and snug, and that's that. New Hopup installed. And now onto the cylinder. So for the cylinder, it's fairly simple. You want to start by taking off your trigger assembly. which are these two screws right here. Or actually, no, you don't have to take the trigger off. You just pull the stopper back, and then you should be able to just slide this out like so. Put your upper part over to the side, and the only screw that you have to Allen screw that you have to take off is this right here. That's the wrong size. Let me get the right size Allen key here. There's no point in stripping nuts and bolts, because then you'll be hurting later when you want to go to change something and you can't. And that's not the right size either. Whoops. So you would just pull that out like that, and it would just disconnect like that. Same goes with the old one. Same idea. Now, there's one thing I do want to point out. If you have a UTG Shadow Ops L96, the PPS will not fit. You do have to do some small modifications, as I mentioned earlier in the video. You can kind of see here, I'll try to line these up, that right here, the PPS is just a few millimeters bigger. So once I get this all back together, I'll show you how to deal with that issue. You do need a Dremel in order to make it work though. So at this point, if you do have a spring kit, you could just, like normal, unscrew this up here, throw in your spring, and away you go. You got your spring in there. So I'm going to just spray a little bit of lube silicone spray in there to make things run a little smoother. Silicone spray on here like so. Spritzes on there. And then throw the screw back in. Whoop. So throw a few spritzes on, toss the screw back in, and tighten this bolt up. And spray inside of here. That almost came out. So at that point, once you got everything lubed up, you can go ahead and put this back into place. And simple as that, you're fully assembled. You have your new piston in there, along with the new cylinder, and not that many steps to go. You would basically, oh, actually, let me put the stopper back in, like so. And at this point, you could actually test and see if it's actually pretty stiff, as I mentioned. Actually, I'm going to wait until I get it all together to pull back the bolt on here. tighten up this set screw. And that, my friends, is pretty much it. So one thing to note that I didn't mention before, you can see right here that it doesn't screw down all the way, and that is because the PPS cylinder is just a few millimeters bigger. So what you have to do, you have to take your Dremel along with the small round sanding tool, and I'm sorry if it's really dark, or if I go this way you could probably see this round curve. It's actually set back this way a little bit. You want to take your round sanding cylinder with your Dremel and just continue along the same type of curve, but just pull it back this way a bit. You can kind of see where I did. It's a little bit blacker right there where the paint came off. You'll basically just want to sand this back, which is going to allow this to sit back further and make everything fit just snug and tight. And yeah, so now at this point we're all assembled. We can go ahead and put our L96 back together. Sometimes it could take a little bit of working. If you do have that problem, just go along that curve. Like you can see where the mag release actually sits. Just pull those two curves back further, and you really shouldn't have an issue with getting everything to settle in. So I'm just going to tighten these screws up. And that, my friends, is the upgraded L96. So, I hope you guys liked the video. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. All that other good stuff. And I'll be back with another disassembly of my BSR11. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. This is Reggie Retro. Peace out, everybody.